Jaydon, just kind of maybe start with the obvious one. Just how meaningful was his performance today and what it meant to the season?
It means everything because you work so hard, not just in the season, but starting back in January. And then you have spring ball, and then you have summer workouts, and then you have fall camp. You go through the ups and downs of the season, ultimately to play in the best ball game you can possible. And to come out and not only play, but play what I feel was our best complete game on all three phases, offense, defense, and special teams. So it just means everything. And obviously, they're a great opponent. So it's a really good win for the program.
Jack, the special teams plays you made, the first one in particular, what did you guys know you were going to go with a fake punt at some point in this game?
Oh yeah, we had it installed, but ultimately we had some things we wanted to do and get after them, and all year we've been really sound on special teams, and that's really changed the course of the game for a few games for us, and we knew in a big game like this that was going to be very important, so there's a lot of attention and a lot of focus throughout the week to get that done.
And being that you are the lone guy up there that's going to be back in the winter and spring, how much does this propel you into that offseason?
Oh, it's a huge momentum boost. I think I love working with these guys. I love grinding with these guys, and as the seniors know, all the work they put in to turn this program around, and we look forward to continuing this going into the next season.
Jack and Jaydon, both of you, with this win capping off your careers, can you kind of describe sort of being able to, end, your both of great careers at Oregon State here with that win? What's the thought process as of right now?
Really, the thought process is you just think back about all of the work and the body of work that has taken place to get to this point. Jaydon was here the year before me, and I got here in 2018, and we couldn't win a ball game to save our lives. And just go from 2-10, a record like that in 2018, to completely changing the program, flipping it on its head, and not only doing that, but also finishing off the right way. And we take a lot of pride in finishing everything, and that was really the motto this whole week. And to be able to do that and actually execute it, there's no better feeling.
Hey Jack, obviously a lot in the lead up to this game was made of Florida's talent over here. They're 4- and 5-star players. So just once the ball was kicked, though, how much did you feel like you had kind of the physical advantage in this game?
Honestly, I thought leading up to the week, we knew what we had to do, and there's a lot of confidence with the way we practice. And we won the game throughout the week on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday up until the game, and we knew we had to bring the energy and the juice because they were talented, they were physical, and ultimately we had to come out and be more physical than them.
And for Ben, seemed like you were playing with a lot of swagger today, celebrating big time, especially after some of the runs. I guess how much confidence were you playing with in this game, and how much did this performance specifically mean to you?
Shoot, I just love playing ball, and like Jack mentioned, our preparation going into this season or into this game. But this past week, the week before, I felt like we put together a great game plan, watched a lot of tape. It was all the looks that we were seeing on tape, and I felt like we could just go out there and let it rip and play ball, and that's the most fun that you can ask for. So.
Jaydon, you talked about this being the most complete performance of the season. Obviously, had him shut out at halftime, and nearly had him shut out for the game. I'm just kind of curious, why do you guys think that you were able to play your best game of the year to close out?
I think because it just means so much to us, from man to man, every single person on this roster. It doesn't matter if you were a starter, it doesn't matter if you were a straight special teams player, it doesn't matter if you were a scout player. So everybody did a tremendous job, these last 2 weeks of just really owning their role and doing it to the best of their ability. And when you got a bunch of guys who all work hard and doesn't care who gets the credit at all, only good things happen. And good things have been happening in Oregon State and Corvallis, and the culture that Coach Smith has instilled in this program.
And for any of you guys that want to answer, obviously just about a year ago, much different feeling after a bowl game. You guys kind of talked about it in the offseason, wanting to finish the season strong. Just now that you can step back and realize, within that context, the mission is achieved. How do you guys feel?
I think it was just nice to be able to learn from our mistakes, because I thought last year we were a little too lackadaisical going into it, and our coaches emphasized that, the players, we emphasized that on each other, and we knew that. So really when we started practice back up after the Oregon game, leading up to that, all of them high energy, guys were locked in, they were focused. We're spending a lot of time after practice studying film and getting ready to play this game, and it showed.
Ben, the plan in the first half to kind of split the QB duties, did you feel like you were kind of in a rhythm? Was that a little frustrating because you got off with such a good start in the first quarter, but then you went on and in the second half really picked right back up where you were at?
No, I wasn't frustrated all about that. We talked about it all season or this week, and Tristan Jebbia, big shout out to him. He's helped me out so much throughout this journey. He's a great guy. He's our captain of the team, and he's going to be a hell of a coach. I would love to play for him. When he goes, pursues his coaching career. But big shout out to Tristan. Yeah.
For Jaydon and Jack, Florida had the longest streak coming into this game of not being shut out in a game. Their offense not being shut out, and you guys shut them out for 59 plus minutes, and then had fourth and long. Did you guys feel any certain kind of way about their decision to kick a field goal there and ultimately end up preserving their scoring streak?
I mean, we can feel any type of way we want, but at the end of the day, we let them get all the way down there. So it's like I could be mad because they took the points or whatever, or you can just look in the mirror and say, well, dang, we shouldn't have let them get all the way down there. So yeah, it was kind of we really wanted to shut out. At the end of the day, 30-3 is not bad.
Ben, congratulations, by the way, on the MVP. There's been so much scrutiny on the quarterback position with this team, both this season and going forward, and a lot of talk about what could happen in the transfer portal or who could be the quarterback of this team next year. Did you feel like you made any kind of statement today? Was it important to you to leave the coaching staff with a certain taste in their mouth, and how much has that sort of chatter affected you in any way, if it has?
I mean, at the end of the day, we're the men in the arena. We're the ones out there playing. We know, all the work that we put into this. And I mean, people can say what they want outside about, whatever position on the team, but at the end of the day, we're winners. We just accomplished a 10-win season, kept it up with a Vegas Bowl win, and I look forward to, using that motivation this offseason.
And I want to say one more thing. Ben is a great leader, and he's fit for this program. And going forward, I know Jay and I will be gone, but we see the work he does day in and day out, and I have my absolute full confidence that this guy can take this program and go the next step.
I second that.
So one thing Coach Smith has really stressed this whole season is playing for 4 quarters, and you guys absolutely did that today. But when you're up so much in such a big game and you kind of have a feeling that you're going to win this one, is it hard to not just want to go and celebrate already?
I mean, there's definitely good times there at the end of the game. You're good vibes, but once you cross those lines, it's all business. And there's only one way to play the game. You can't look at the scoreboard, or you can't. There's only one way to play the game, and that's all out. And so our thing, the message that we kept on saying every time, before we went in the drive is, they don't score, they don't get in. You hold them to as little as possible. 3 and out, turnover. We're constantly trying to be our best selves every single opportunity we get to go out there. So. I don't think that was a problem for us. It was almost exciting, when it got to later in the game. It felt like, clutch time at the end of the game right there.
And again, I know you can answer this, but people love to talk about SEC football, different brand out there. And you guys showed SEC football what the Pac-12 can do and what the Beavers can do. What does this mean just for the whole conference and your program?
I don't think it's necessarily just big for our conference and our program, but really the whole country to see what we can do. And there's a lot of good football and good football teams in the Pac-12. And playing through all of them, there's a lot of, Washington, Oregon, SC now. Utah has always been good. There's a lot of talented players and good coaches and good scheme, and I think it's only going to get better.
Like Jack was saying, we don't take anything away from the SEC or the Florida Gators or anything like that. Our biggest thing is, you talk about ball, look at the Pac-12 too. We have, I think, 6 teams in the top 15 or top 25 or whatever it may be. A couple other teams are right on that edge. And so, not saying anything about the SEC or Florida. We're saying something about us in the Pac-12. They talk about the physicality of the SEC and the Florida Gators, and it was true. All we're saying is look at the physicality of the Beavs and look at the physicality of the Pac-12 as well.
Ben, you guys were down 2 of your top receivers, and Damian left early in the first quarter. Beyond the next man up thing, what gave you the confidence to think you guys could, move the ball and do what you did today.
Yeah, I mean, it really is next man up. That's what Coach Smith has emphasized, all off season, heading into this season. And it goes to show to those guys that, hey, your time's coming. Once you get that opportunity, go out there, let it rip. Show all the work that you put in this off season. And I think we got a great culture, at Oregon State of hardworking guys that, once they get their opportunity, they're going to do excellent.
Hey, Jack and Jaydon, you guys have been around this program so long. Part of this huge turnaround now, a 10-win season. I guess just from your perspective, how much further do you think this program can climb?
I think that the sky's the limit. I mean, even if you just look back at our games, I like to reminisce about this, or you get hung up on it, but even if you look back on our games, I know defensively we're a few plays away, from pulling out those games. So I think the sky's the limit. I think with the culture that Coach Smith has instilled, the culture with the staff, the way we work, the way that we go about our business, man, I just think that Corvallis is a great place, have a lot of success to come.
I know it's been said, I know Trevor just said 10 wins. Jaydon, Jack, but especially Jaydon, you guys saw a 1-2 win season. Has it sunk in that a 10-win season is only the third time in Beaver history that this has happened?
I mean, ultimately, we've heard it several times. It's just kind of like, shoot. And it also goes back to the whole process and everything we've done. But also to reiterate, I do think there's a lot more ahead of us in terms of this program. And if you were to look back 6-5 years ago and say, hey, you guys are going to have a 10-win season, win the Las Vegas Bowl, and beat an SEC team, I mean, there'd be a lot of people laughing at us. But yet we ultimately were able to execute and do it. So 5 years from now, who knows where we can be.
Same thing. Like, obviously, the thought of, if you would have told me that back then, I'd be like, wow, that's great. I mean, even now, I know those guys, and like, not that we're not happy about a 10-win season, but they're not going to sit back in summer workouts or winter workouts, January 8th, whenever they get back, and say, hey guys, we won 10 games last year. They're going to say, hey guys, we need to work out, we need to take it up a notch because we could have won 12 games last year. We could have maybe even won more. So that's what I love about Coach Smith. Coach Mack, shout out to Coach Mack. He's always pushing us to be our best. And it's just a really enjoyable place to play, under the staff.
Obviously just really proud of the group. These players from the get-go, day one to obviously finish at the thing now, it was going to be player-led, and they played that way. In regards to those guys, their week of work down here, I thought they were focused. They wanted to play well in this game. A lot of contributions from a lot of different guys. And so we finished obviously the way we wanted to. Defensively, throughout the night, physicality, wanted to take away the run game, made it hard for them, got off the field. Offensively, really functioned in a lot of ways well. Kind of a couple hiccups in the first half, but I did think that drive to start the second half and getting points to turn it into 17 was huge. And so, really, really pleased. Special teams shows up again. So that's where I'm back to everybody contributing to a big win.
John, it seems like I asked this question several times down the stretch, but did this feel like the most complete performance of the season?
Without staring at film, and it felt that way. Defensively, obviously, awesome effort. Offensively, did some really good things, getting points on the board, and got contributions from special teams. So it did feel pretty complete.
You are the thread to the 2000 team. How close do you feel like this team is to that team?
Yeah. I'm not going to be a smart aleck now. I think that, both those teams had some really good players on it. And again, special years on both instances. Really happy with this team. I'll leave it there.
Defensively, did you see that confidence this week in what they actually perform, how they performed out there?
I felt like those guys were wanting the challenge. I think that offensive line in Florida is really good. They've got a couple of good backs that can run the ball. They felt like that was a challenge. These guys had a good week, really a couple of weeks of practice. And look, this defense had a lot of pride, and they were going to play with some energy and make it physical. I did think they were dialed in throughout practice because they were motioning a lot. There's adjustments that come with that, and they were dialed in.
Jonathan, Jack, and Jaydon both just sat up here and gave a really strong endorsement for Ben as the quarterback of this team going forward. And there's been a lot of speculation about what that's going to look like and who could potentially have interest in your program. What has Ben shown you to position himself with the future of this program?
Well, I mean, look, the guy's 7-1 as a starter. He's done what we've asked him to do. I think any place you want to create competition in the room, and Ben's not shy away from that. I think he had one of his better games tonight, and we told him before the game that we're going to take you out the game for a couple series, and again, let Tristan play. So this guy don't bat an eye. He is competitive. The guys really like him and rally around him, and he's going to have the opportunity to do that moving forward.
You obviously had some wide receivers missing today. Silas really stepped up and made a couple big plays for you. Could you talk about, especially that play in the first half, to kind of get you guys going a little
No
bit?
question. Silas has made some tough catches in there, got the deep ball going on the early drive. He got opportunities, and he continues to make plays. That guy is tough, not just fast. Touchdown catch in the second half was, he knew he was going to get a hit, locked in on it, came down with it. Special player.
How special is this group of seniors that have kind of been with you from the very start, from a 2-win season to now?
Yeah, really special group. I can't list them all, but I did do Jaydon and Jack being up here and Brandon Kipper going through it. I'm on pause before I miss somebody name-wise. But it's a unique group, been through a lot, stayed around, stuck to the process. And again, really proud that they player-led, the senior group led, one of the best teams around here in a long time.
The decision to give Tristan a couple of series, was that something you wanted him to have, before his career ended? And even in a game where, the stakes felt pretty high for you guys, the opportunity to get to 10 wins, it was only a 7-point game at that point.
Yeah.
Can you just kind of what you're thinking?
Yeah, a lot there. It'd been brewing to me a little bit just watching him practice the last month of this guy's throwing it really well. He's playing as good as I really have seen him. And then I look at his influence, being a captain on this team, guys rallying around him, really like the way he continued to support Ben. It's disappointing not to be able to play, continue to support him. It just felt like, it's not more than a tip of the cap. The guy, if we wasn't close to Ben, we wouldn't have put him out there. We're trying to win the game. And so we did feel like put him out there and give him a couple series and then see how it went. And he led us to points. Might have got a touchdown on his drive, but we don't, got guys in motion on his quarterback sneak. So all of that, what he meant to the program, what he's been doing, how well he'd been playing, we felt like giving him that chance. At the same time, we wanted Ben to be able to see the picture from the sideline a little bit. And, Ben took advantage of that, and Ben played really well in the second half.
Jonathan, in your introductory press conference about 5 years ago, you said with regard to success and winning 10 games and getting to bowl games that it's been done before and it can be done again. How much sitting here now do you feel, okay, mission accomplished, but then also how much does it set the stage for what you're planning to do in the future?
Yeah, again, yes, it's been done here, and now we know we can go to bowl games and win, and we win a bunch more than we lose. That's all good. I think we got more in the tank, and we're going to keep pushing forward. Excited about the next year and what's coming back. Understanding how hard it is to win. I totally get that, but I do feel like the commitment from everyone involved, administration, Scott Barnes, this coaching staff, these players buy in. We've got some momentum. We want to continue it.
Jonathan, Jack just said the preparation leading up to this bowl game was a lot better than last year's. In what ways did you kind of see that in this week leading up to the game?
Yeah, I thought we learned a ton from last year. And we went hard. We went Tuesday and Wednesday. We went hard. We were in pads. These guys were banging around. And so our approach was a little bit different. Obviously, last year was a big just to get to the game. And so from all of that learning experience, I do think these guys were locked in this week.
Jonathan, you talked about the defense and obviously a tremendous effort from them today. You gave Trent a new extension a couple weeks ago. Does that kind of just reaffirm kind of the belief in him? And do you kind of believe he's one of the brightest young defensive coaches out there right now?
Yeah, he did a great job this year, and I think he'd be the first to say his staff was a part of that, and let alone that the players on his side. And we want to be proactive. This guy's been getting hunted up. He's going to continue to get hunted. We want to be proactive and make sure he knew that we recognize the quality of work he's done. And he's not alone. This coaching staff, there's a lot of guys doing a great job. And these guys will be locked in as it goes moving forward, and we'll announce all of that. But these guys are going to have some options too. And he has success. We got a big-time coaching staff. Opportunities are going to come their way, and we'll see how it plays out.
And continuing on that as well, obviously, you know, you yourself have a new contract, and you know the program's in as good of a place as it's been in a while. What does that say to potential, you know, onlookers outside looking at the program to see you're here, you're committed, Trent's here, Trent's committed, the whole staff, you know, been here, and now a 10-win campaign to boot?
Yeah, you know, there's a lot to like there. Again, momentum. We understand that it's not easy to win, and so moving forward, it's not going to be easy. I do think we got some continuity that has gotten us to this point. Obviously, try to keep a lot of that to keep this momentum going.
Coach, Jack pretty much did a little bit of everything on the field. I know it's not a surprise to you, but what is it like to have a player like that and to watch his performance today?
Yeah, he's going to be tough to replace. I mean, all three phases, this guy's contributing. You know, he gets the hand in on the punt block. I think it was a huge, you know, we go fake punt. First drive of the second half, put it in his hands to continue the drive, and then we separate the thing by get up 17. That was a huge play, so he's doing that offensively. You know, lead blocking, gets a first down at carrying the ball at quarterback. He's got tackles, not just on defense, but in special teams. So we're going to have to replace him with maybe 3 or 4 guys.
So Jack just said when he first got here, if you would have told him that you guys, after your 2-win season or 1-win season, were gonna do this, win 10 games, win the Las Vegas Bowl, that he pretty much would have laughed. But did you feel differently? Did you always know that this was possible and have hope?
Yeah, no, I think you always got some hope, but you got to have some strategy behind it, some consistency behind it. Jack's the epitome of that, of going, being consistent, going to work. These guys kept believing. It's been a couple of years process, but I think Jack's a huge factor. Jaydon and Jack being the 2 guys up here were huge factors in us continuing to progress each year.
Congrats.
Jonathan, struck me when you're voting for MVP, there could have been 8, 10 guys. And then Jaydon mentioned that, you know, it's amazing what could happen when guys just don't want the credit. How difficult is that to develop that sort of culture, I guess, to where guys don't really care, they just want to win games?
Yeah, it's not easy. In this day and age of college football, that's why I go back to how special this group was. The players, this idea of being selfless, not worried about their own touches, attention, how many snaps. Been through some rougher seasons, made some momentum, and we want to continue to build and get it better, and whatever it took, and playing their role. And so on down the line, I mean, the seniors, look at our backfield, the running backs, those guys contributing and going. We got a starting quarterback's fine. You're going to sit 2 series, we're going to put another guy in, he pops back in. Jack Colletto started as a quarterback, and he bought into just doing all kinds of other stuff. That's why this group is so special, because we hung on to this idea of being selfless, and in this day and age, I think that's unique. And we won 10 games to it.